Palestinian journalist Muhannad Chishta yearns to visit the graves of his sisters, Reem and Walaa, in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, but there is a problem. They no longer exist on a map. The Sheikh Mohammed cemetery in the Man area of Khan Yunis has been wiped from the map and replaced by the tents and armoured vehicles of an Israeli military outpost, according to recently updated satellite imagery added to Google Earth.
Israeli forces have reached the outskirts of the southern Lebanese city of Nabatea and captured the strategic Beaufort Castle, despite a ceasefire agreement in place since April. As analysts warn Israel is laying the groundwork for long-term control of territory inside Lebanon, the advance marks Israel's deepest incursion into Lebanon in more than a quarter of a century. Israeli forces now occupy about 2,000 square kilometres, 770 square miles, of Lebanese territory, nearly one-fifth of the country.
The World Health Organization has hailed the recovery of 5 people infected with a rare strain of Ebola for which there is no approved vaccine or treatment amid the latest outbreak of the virus in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus announced on Sunday that 4 people would soon be discharged from hospital after another patient was allowed to return home on Friday.
Cristiano Ronaldo has become the world's highest-paid athlete for 2026, according to Forbes, after earning an estimated $300 million over the past 12 months. The 41-year-old Portuguese soccer star topped the Forbes list for the 4th year in a row and the 6th time in his career. His latest total is also his highest annual earnings figure so far.
The Pakistan Meteorological Department, PMD, forecast light to moderate rain, along with thunderstorms and dust storms at isolated places in parts of Sindh on June 1. The forecast is expected to bring some relief after several days of intense heat across the province.
The district administration of Naran has issued a travel advisory for Babasar Top, warning tourists, passengers and transporters to avoid unnecessary travel due to continuous snowfall and unsafe road conditions. According to the advisory, heavy snowfall at Babasar Top has created difficulties for travellers. The administration said people should check weather conditions before leaving for the area. The federal government has prepared a draft of the new National Sports Policy 2026, aiming to reform the country's sports system after nearly 2 decades. The proposed policy seeks to give autonomy to national sports federations and the Pakistan Olympic Association while making them subject to governance standards, international federation rules and performance-based accountability. The Karachi Water and Sewerage Corporation, KWSC, said on Sunday that the city was facing a shortfall of 54 million gallons per day, MGD, after electricity supply to northeast Karachi pumping station was disrupted due to a fault in K Electric's main cable. It also warned that this shortfall could increase if the cable was not repaired. Power Minister Awais Lari on Sunday said that strict action had been taken against a Lahore electric supply company, Lesco, line superintendent, after Defence Minister Khawaja Asif complained of financial corruption in an ex-post on Saturday. Asif said he had sought a former official's help for the repair of a transformer in the village of his domestic employee.
The Israeli military has increased the zone in southern Lebanon that it has warned residents to evacuate from as it further expands its ground operations against Hezbollah. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, reiterated its warning to everyone south of the Zahrani River to leave.
The United States, Australia and the United Kingdom have taken a big step towards tackling growing threats to undersea pipelines and cables, which carry huge amounts of energy and data around the world. The 3 governments are planning to develop new unmanned undersea vehicles as part of their trilateral AUKUS defence pact.
The South African squad's departure for the FIFA World Cup has been delayed due to a hold-up in the visas for Mexico, whom they face in the tournament's opening game in 11 days. The South African Football Association's SFA has said. Bafana Bafana, as South Africa's national men's football team is known, were scheduled to depart on a chartered flight from Johannesburg to Mexico City on Sunday morning, but remained grounded as visas for the co-host nation for some squad members were delayed. Japanese Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi has dismissed claims that Tokyo is pursuing new militarism and accused China of rapidly expanding its military with limited transparency. China continues to increase its defense spending at a high level, Koizumi said on Sunday at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore.
I am sitting in the sweltering Nevada heat watching a man struggle to lift a bar over his head. If the man manages to do it, he will win $250,000. The man is Bodhi Santavi, a two-time Olympic weightlifting contestant from Canada, and he has muscles that look culled from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Massive, cartoonish arms that might as well belong to a superhero rather than a real human.
Artificial intelligence is getting expensive, and companies are starting to rethink their embrace of the disruptive technology. Playing by a well-worn Silicon Valley playbook, AI companies charged rock-bottom prices to hook customers after ChatGPT burst onto the scene.
MNA Ali Musa Gilani on Sunday denied reports of his deportation from the United Arab Emirates. "I was not deported at all. It's fake news. I travelled as per schedule and returned as per schedule." Musa, son of Senate chairperson Yousaf Raza Gilani, posted on X in response to a claim of his deportation. In a couple of decades, Morocco went from being regularly eliminated in the group stages of the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, and failing to qualify for several successive World Cups to sitting inside the top 10 of the FIFA men's rankings, reaching the semi-finals at the Qatar World Cup in 2022 and being considered credible contenders for the sport's biggest tournament this summer. Even more impressive is that the Atlas Lions' success is not limited to the senior men's national team, but has been spread across every age group and category. Karachi. Mayor Mortaza Wahab on Sunday said construction work around Karachi's Hill Park had been halted, while the opposition Muttahida Qaumi Movement Pakistan, MQMP, demanded that the PPP-led Sindh government investigate the matter. Spread over 62 acres and located in PGS, Hill Park was built in the early 1960s and is one of the largest parks in the city. Artificial intelligence is getting expensive, and companies are starting to rethink their embrace of the disruptive technology. Playing by a well-worn Silicon Valley playbook, AI companies charged rock-bottom prices to hook customers after ChatGPT burst onto the scene.
South Africa's sports minister has demanded an explanation following reports. The country's football team has been delayed in travelling to Mexico ahead of the World Cup due to visa issues. National broadcaster SABC said an administrative bungle meant some players had not been issued with visas. No other details were given.
A total of 219 people have been injured in clashes between football fans and police across France after Paris Saint-Germain. PSG won the Champions League final against Arsenal. 8 were in a serious condition, Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said. Thousands of officers were deployed to curb unrest that disrupted bus, train and rail services in the capital, Paris. 57 of them were injured.
Hungry and weak, the Laos cave survivors huddled together in damp darkness for 11 days, clinging to hope as a wall of water blocked their way out. When they noticed the water finally start to recede, they somehow found the strength to attempt a daring escape, completely unaided, shocking the rescue team above ground when they appeared at the cave entrance on Saturday. Ukrainian drones have struck energy and industrial targets across several Russian regions, Russian authorities say, in an escalating campaign of strikes against infrastructure. In Saratov, a region on the Volga River with several oil refineries that has come under regular Ukrainian attack in recent years, Governor Roman Basarjan said on Sunday on Telegram that civil infrastructure had been damaged in the overnight strikes.
Malta's Labour Party, Pehel, has won an unprecedented fourth term in a victory for Prime Minister Robert Abela. A sample of vote counts showed preliminary results gave the election to Pehel, officials at the counting hall in Naxar said on Sunday, as fireworks were set off across the tiny Mediterranean island.
Some stories are about growth, others are about survival.
French police detained over 400 people involved in violent clashes in Paris and other French cities that erupted Saturday night after Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League title. 7 officers were injured as football fans set off fires and vandalized shops, Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said, describing the violence as absolutely unacceptable. One small group even tried to storm a Paris police station.
When millions of foreigners visit Mexico for the World Cup this summer, they will encounter much more than colourful soccer murals, towering statues of players and lively fan festivals. In the country's biggest tourist hotspots, visitors will see tighter security measures and heavier police presence meant to safeguard both fans and Mexico's public image. President Donald Trump sought to change several terms of a proposal to end the US-Israel war on Iran, according to media reports in the United States. As a finalized deal remains elusive, that Trump's changes involve toughening the deal terms, and the US has sent the new framework back to be considered by Iran and, according to officials familiar with the proceedings.
Israel's flag flew over the medieval fortress on Beaufort in Lebanon on Sunday as it warned Lebanese civilians to evacuate a large area of the south of the country ahead of stepped-up ground operations. The Associated Press noted that Israel's capture of the 900-year-old Beaufort Castle and its strategic ridge in southern Lebanon was Israel's deepest incursion into the country in 26 years.
The Israeli military has captured the Crasada-era Beaufort Castle in southern Lebanon, a site it hasn't held for 26 years, as it expands its incursion deeper into its neighbours' territory. The capture of the castle near the city of Nabateh and roughly 9 miles, 14.5 kilometres from the Israeli border, comes after days of fierce fighting in the area.